In this episode, we're going to be talking about your podcast setup, and I'm going to give you some tips on microphone placement, soundproofing, and adding some visual flair to your podcast studio setup so you look and sound more professional. Stay tuned. This is the Podcast in the Rough. Tune in every Friday for new adventurous episodes. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Podcast in the Rough. I'm your host, Zebulon Thomas, and this is episode 129. This is the show where we take your podcasting dreams from raw potential to polished perfection. And today's episode is a special one. We're diving into the nitty-gritty details of setting up your podcasting space. You've got the equipment, now let's make it look and sound incredible. First, let's talk about microphones. The key here is placement. Your microphone should be placed close enough to capture your voice clearly, but not so close that it picks up every little noise. Experiment with different positions until you find that sweet spot. And remember, a pop filter can be your best friend. It helps eliminate those pesky plosive sounds that can ruin an otherwise perfect take. I am personally not using a pop filter on this microphone today, but I do have a powerful Rodecaster Pro that helps that. And my microphone is angled a little bit to the left of me and not directly in front of my mouth. So it's helping with that. Now let's address what reduces that annoying reverb in the room. Soundproofing. Placing soundproofing material strategically can make a world of difference. Consider placing acoustic panels on the walls and ceilings to absorb echoes and minimize external noise. Don't forget about the floor either. A plush rug can do wonders. And I also would like to add, now that I'm looking at my desk in front of me, is I have my hoodie that I took off because I was a little hot, and I always put it in front of me underneath my microphone on this table. And sometimes we don't get to soundproof our table that our microphone might be hovering over or sitting on, and there's going to be audio bounce back there as well. So putting something underneath you, a blanket, or a sound panel will help reduce that as well. Now let's talk aesthetics. Lights, camera, action. Lighting is crucial for creating a visually appealing podcast. So if you're doing video podcasting, soft diffused lighting works wonders. You don't need to break the bank and buy all this heavy lighting equipment. A couple of well-placed desk lamps or LED panels can work wonders. Just get creative with the lighting and set the mood. And speaking of visuals, why not add some props to spice up your backdrop? Personalize it to reflect your podcast theme. Whether it's a quirky mug, a plant, or a vintage microphone, these little touches can make your podcast visually engaging. So have fun with this and get creative. But let's not stop there. Let's make all this pop out a little bit more. Consider incorporating theme decorations that match your podcast vibe. If you're into true crimes, maybe a detective hat or a vintage magnifying glass. If it's a comedy show, how about some funny posters or quirky artwork in the background? Now let's talk equipment. Investing in a good quality headset can make your podcasting journey a breeze. It not only improves the audio quality, but it also makes editing a smoother process. Trust me, your future self will thank you. And investing in the right equipment can significantly enhance the quality of your podcast. And here are some equipment suggestions and recommendations I have put together for you just in case you might have missed something or left something out in your setup. Number 1, Audio-Technica ATH-M50X Professional Studio Headphones. These headphones are renowned for their exceptional sound clarity and accuracy, making them a favorite among podcasters and audio professionals. The closed-back design also provides excellent noise isolation, allowing you to focus on your recording without being disturbed by external sounds. Number 2, the Shure SR-H440 Professional Studio Headphones. Shure is a trusted brand in audio, and the SR-H440 headphones offer a balanced sound with good isolation. They are durable, comfortable for external use, and provide accurate studio reproduction for critical listening during recording and editing. I personally use the Audio-Technica headphones, but I wanted to throw the Shures in here because it's also a very professional move. I don't know, let's open that up for debate. Comment below if you feel the Audio-Technicas are better than the Shure or vice versa. Number 3, Focusrite Scarlett 2i2, 3rd Gen USB audio interface. A reliable audio interface is crucial for connecting your microphone to your computer. The Scarlett 2i2 is a popular choice for high-quality preamps, low latency monitoring, and USB connectivity. It's user-friendly, making it suitable for podcasters of all levels. Again, I've talked about this before. There's amazing USB microphones that go right to your computer as well. Or if you want to use a mixer like a Rodecaster Pro, or I highly recommend the Zoom PodTrack P4 affordable alternative, and it's mobile. But I've talked about this in the earlier episodes, so you have to go back and check that out if you want more details on that. Number 4, pop filter. As mentioned earlier, a pop filter helps reduce plosive sounds like the P and the B sounds during recording, ensuring a cleaner and more professional sound audio. The Aoki Professional Microphone Pop Filter is a popular and affordable choice. Any pop filter will really do the trick, but I do love the sound of a mesh metal pop filter. It just cuts through that a little bit differently. Number 5, microphone boom arm. A boom arm allows you to position your microphone precisely, improving economics and freeing up desk space. The Rode PSA-1 swivel mount studio microphone boom arm is a durable and adjustable option. And I personally love Rode, and they sponsor a lot of my podcast and other endeavors in the film industry. So hands down, I'm going to tell you to go with the Rode, because I've used Rode equipment over the course of my career, and it's always been high quality, top notch. Number 6, Auralex acoustic sound foam panels. To enhance sound quality, especially in rooms with reflective surfaces, acoustic panels like those from Auralex can be strategically placed to absorb excess sound reflections, reducing echoes and creating a more controlled recording environment. And over the weekend, I'm going to be placing even more of these sound panels in my Studio B, which is downstairs in my basement. And I haven't had time to really address some of the room reverb in this space, but my Rodecaster Pro has presettings that really help reduce that. But you want to make sure you can dampen the room as much as possible, because that just makes a cleaner audio and less work in editing. And also, when you clean some of this up in editing, you can start to sound like you're in a tin can. So stripping away and relying on some digital software to remove the reverb is not always effective. So over the weekend, I'm going to be placing just a few more panels in the ceiling, and then you test it out, play around with it, and see what has reduced and where that echo might be coming from. A lot of times the echo is going to be bouncing around, and it's going to be coming from behind you. So try to place something behind you to stop that. And when investing in podcasting equipment, it's crucial to consider your specific needs, budget, and the type of content you create. These recommendations provide a solid foundation for creating a professional and enjoyable podcast experience. And since we're talking about experience, don't forget to show your love by leaving a rating and review for this episode on your favorite podcast platform, or by visiting thepodcastintherough.com. Your feedback helps us reach more inspiring podcasters like yourself and improves the overall experience. So I appreciate that. And now I want to speak to our sponsors. You listening to this right now are my sponsor. If you love what you're hearing and you want even more exclusive content, head over to buymeacoffee.com/intherough to show your support, keep this podcast moving forward, and access premium content to really help you go to the next level. So definitely check that out. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a powerful question to ponder on. What would happen if you never started your podcast? Think about the incredible stories, connections, and experiences you might miss out on. Don't let the fear of the unknown hold you back. And don't let the lack of technical experience stop you either. Inside my podcast community Mastermind, I'm teaching individuals just like you how to podcast from start to success. So if you haven't joined my Mastermind group yet, head over to thepodcastintherough.com/learn and get inside. It's absolutely free. And I want to help you as much as I can take your podcast from start to success. So as you embark on your podcast journey, remember the world is waiting to hear your unique voice. And you're literally just one episode away from your next level success with podcasting. That's all I have for you today. Enjoy your weekend, and don't forget to tune in next week for another great episode of the Podcast in the Rough. Take care. This is the Podcast in the Rough.